on to you, Aquarius. So you have the Ten of Cups, the Queen of Swords, Four of Swords, King of Swords, the Strength, the Hanged Man. Then you have the Judgment, Three of Wands, Two of Wands, and the what? Oh, Two of Swords. Some of them don't have names on them. See, some of them don't have names on them, so you have to really pay attention to what they are. But beautiful cards nonetheless. So for you, Aquarius, the Ten of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the Four of Swords, right? For some of you, Aquarius, for some of you, Aquarius, you felt like you met the right person. I may bounce back and forth because I may read for two or two types, but you felt like you found the correct person and things are working well for you. You know, pretty much things are working well. The Queen of Swords, the Four of Swords, it's just that it's a relationship that's going well. The two of you understand each other. Four of Swords, it may seem like people would like to see the two of you break up, not really be in a relationship with one another. And it just seems like everything in the world and everyone in the world is trying to tear the two of you apart, right? If they're doing that, first and foremost, I would suggest you, Aquarius, to really take advice from people who are qualified to give you advice. If a person is not really giving you any kind of real wise advice, if a person is not wise, don't take relationship advice from those people, because they will intentionally, meaning that they know it, give you terrible advice, because they have to, again, run that narrative. Because, you know, even in my own life, right, I realized just that same thing too. People will give you terrible advice. They'll tell you things that, right, go against the actuality of what it is. Oh, you this, that, and third. Oh, this, that, and third. And it's like at some point you have to realize, I can't trust you in this area because you're giving me terrible advice intentionally. So I got a W. I got a W. I'm good. You know, I have to W because you not keeping it 100. You're gonna continue to lie for this other person. And it's real stupid when they do it, because it just shows that they're out of their mind. It just shows that something's wrong with them in the first place. They don't know the person, yet they're coming up with this narrative. But this is what I mean when I say in the game, because they just can't, because people who want to tear y'all apart and tell y'all nonsense when you go to them, right? You shouldn't be hanging around them. Shouldn't be, truth be told, I wouldn't even suggest you hang around those type of people, because what are they doing telling you this type of nonsense when they should not even be playing the game with you? And just tell the truth to shame the devil. Just say what it is. No, if they can't do that, I would suggest you stop talking to them. Don't delude you, don't blow smoke up your butt. Say what it is. But then you have the King of Swords, which represents you, Aquarius, realize that a lot of the stuff that people tell you, right, is just a matter of that. Not fact of that. They want to tear you and this other person apart. They want to downgrade you and delude you and tell you a bunch of stuff that's not even real. But now it has you, again, like the card suggests, it has you split in two, right? Figuratively speaking, of course, because you know how some people they're going, anyway, it has you split in two because, these are people that you've known for years. these are people who are familiar faces, yet at the same time, these also happen to be people where you really need to understand that you can't trust them in certain regards. So the strength now represents you, Aquarius, having to learn to get over your own ego, in the sense that you got to excommunicate these people out of your life. You can't have these people in your life because, or if you are going to have them in your life, you have to keep them at bay. And what I mean by that is you have to hang out, you have to feed them with a long spoon. You have to keep them at a certain distance, because when they come around, they can't even be real. They have to delude you. And what I mean by that, for instance, I mean like how it is that you may be like for me, you know, how it is that some of the so-called friends that I would hang out with would talk some stuff like, oh, she ain't want this, she ain't want that, XYZ, XYZ. And it's like none of that stuff is true. It's like, because if their time was so precious, see, this is where the confusion come into play. If the person's time was so precious, what do they do even wasting their time giving me their number? See, this is the confusion at play here. You saying one thing and you doing another. Your time is precious and all of that crap, but why are you wasting your time on a know-nothing like me? You should be shining on me and stunting on me, right? I'm from the show me state. You should be pulling up with a new whip. But yet here you are giving your number to me, little old me. So you confused, but then sometime later on in the future, now you talking nonsense. You talking about how I ain't squat and all this, but you're wasting your time for the fact that you're even wasting your time even doing this at all ever is that of, you know, I was more important than the way you trying to play it off as, because I was a waste of your time, remember? So you don't need to tell garbage is garbage. You don't need to explain why garbage is garbage, you know? But then but again, that's what the strength card is, understanding that you, Aquarius, needed to see things for yourself and experience it for yourself, how it plays out, right? And that's what it is that you need. Even if you, Aquarius, are not even, even if you, Aquarius, are not in a relationship per se, you, Aquarius, need to understand what the secret coded language that a lot of people are really talking about. Most people are in the game. Most people do not have the decency and the straightforwardness to speak to you where when they say something, that's what it is. It's not a matter of double entendre and then you got to go back and look at the dichotomy of it and the double-sidedness of it, because most people are in the game. Most people, right? And the more untrustworthy they are is the more confusion that they want to bring into the situation, because all they do is talk in double entendres. So you have to constantly be figuring out what these goofy people want. But then you have the Hanged Man, right? Which is Pisces, which is the zodiac sign that's right after you if we're going clockwise. But that proves my point though, Aquarius. The idea that, you know, some of you may not have necessarily have figured out this language. Well, you have technically now because you're starting to see it. But a lot of you, Aquarius, realizing just how tricky that situation is, where people will say one thing and then the double entendre. That's why it is I play no games with these people. That's why it is I don't play any games with the people who I'm hanging out with. This stupid confusion, this mental illness, this confusion, you need to fix that, because that's a no-brainer. That's a no deal. If you come with me with that, we ain't gonna be together. I don't care how good you look. This confusion, no, but then you disappointed when I don't try. So wait a minute, hold on. What do you mean by that? Why are you getting offended that you said no and I respected it? You wanted me to keep going, to put who in what type of legal bind? Nope. But this is the confusion. So what would happen to a person that did? Now you got them. Now you got them now. Because it's a game and you're willing to put your own body on the line to do it. You can tell I don't like that, because I don't. The confusion, the mental illness, the yes, no. It's like, well, what is this? But then the judgment, right? So you have to use your better judgment. You have to understand discernment. You have to look at it for what it is. You have to look at those situations, Aquarius, for the bigger scheme of things, regardless of whether you're in a relationship or if you're not, and understand the bigger picture of where dealing with people would really go. And you understand this by understanding their value. You understand this by understanding what value, their value overall, and right, are they priceless, right? And the value that they have brought to you already. You understand this by paying attention to, are they your friend? Are they really on your team? If they're not, 3 of Wands, it's time for you to leave them alone and look elsewhere. The 2 of Wands, because, right, the 2 of Wands, and this is what I mean when I say the world is in their hands. A lot of times people used to be like, oh, well, on the card on the Rider Waite. Well, what is that? The world being in their hands. But it's actually obviously the replica of the world, right? Obviously, which is it opens up and it's a battery, right? In most cases, but it's actually a power pack. But the point is for electricity. But the point is the world is in the person's hands. And again, you realize, once you realize their value, you realize that's, you know, someone is there for you. If they're not, you can leave them alone. But understand that people who really want to be in something real with you, and just anyone in general who are decent, who have a level of decency, they're not trying to be confusing and bring confusion. They're not trying to bring that. If a person is trying to bring confusion to you, confusion in on itself is an enemy, naturally. So if a person is trying to be confusing, that in on itself goes to show you, you have to grade them on a level where no matter what they say, no matter how nice they are an enemy. They are not good for you, because they, by definition, they are bringing in confusion, right? So the 2 of Swords now is for you, Aquarius, to get out of this, because this is what it is that you're trying to fight against within your own self. You look at how it is that you're tied up, and you know you got swords and you're blindfolded. This is about how you got to go from being this to now being this or this, seeing things for what it is. You're seeing the bigger picture. Look at how the person's standing back and paying attention that there's more than one land masses. It's not just, or it's more than one land mass. It's not just the land that they're standing on or the land that they have a footing on. There's a big world out there. There's a great big world out there. You have to pay it. You have to have a panoramic view. Birds travel from continent to continent daily. I don't know if y'all know that. They travel from continent to continent on a daily basis. There's at least one bird, regardless of wherever you are on the planet, that has traveled from one continent to another continent. They seeing hawks in certain parts of Europe. Yeah, but hawks are natural and indigenous to America. Their homeland is America. Hawks, peregrine hawks, by the way, right? Peregrine falcons, one of the two. But point is that's my point. Don't get discouraged by the nonsense, and that it's okay to look at what it is that you see is messed up. Most people are not built for it. And whenever they come to you with the confusion, don't allow yourself to play in it. Don't participate, right? It's the summer. Like I said before, you could talk to people, do just that. But if they're making it difficult on you, do not waste your time. So let's clarify some of these cards. Let's clarify, okay? Let's clarify the Judgment. Let's clarify the Judgment. Four of Wands, Five of Pentacles, the Justice, right? The Seven of Wands, right? Because it's the foundation that you should be building with them in the first place. They shouldn't be making it so difficult for you. Cat here. Five of Pentacles, if they do, run away. Don't just walk, run away. The Justice, because life is going to straighten them out regardless. And the Seven of Wands. So, you're going to be well off without dysfunctional people getting in the way, trying to mess things up for you in the first place. So you, Aquarius, are pretty much on a very good track. The only thing that you have to do is not be so intimidated by what people want to do. See it for what it is, right? And see it for what it will be.